Good morning, America. My name is Abigail Burke, and today I'm going to talk to you about a very controversial topic, climate change. Drought, floods, fires, death, extinction, all around the world, disasters are ensuing due to climate change accelerated by humans. America is not immune to such effects, yet right-wing politicians have been ignoring the cold, hard facts for years. Leading the movement is our current president, who has spewed absolute blasphemy regarding such a pressing issue ever since he tweeted in 2012 that climate change was created by the Chinese government to harm American industry, make America great again, or blame our problems on a foreign nation. Typical conservative disregard of facts to fit their own agenda. Sad. Perhaps Trump would care about climate change if he knew how it could damage his hotels in Florida. That's right. Rising sea levels due to the melting of polar ice caps could potentially flood and destroy Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort. Perhaps he should get into the yacht business. Besides simply making idiotic statements about climate change, Trump has proposed real legislation that would have a profound effect on the future of our climate. His assault on the climate's budget began when he appointed Scott Pruitt to head the Environmental Protection Agency, or the EPA. Scott Pruitt, former Attorney General of Oklahoma, is a known arch nemesis of the EPA and a captain for the big oil industries. Pruitt's own state website used to read, "Leading advocate against EPA's activist agenda." This is a clear conflict of interest created by the radical nutjob rightist. Ever since Pruitt was sworn into the EPA, their website has removed their section explaining climate change to reflect the EPA's priorities under leadership of President Trump and Administrator Pruitt. If only removing climate change from the website would make it go away in the real world. In addition to dismantling the EPA through Scott Pruitt, the Trump administration has proposed reversing several key pieces of legislation passed by the Obama administration that protect the climate. Trump's agenda includes reversing the ban on offshore oil and gas drilling, possibly pulling out of the Paris Global Climate Pact, reversing the EPA's Clean Power Plan, approving the dangerous Keystone Pipeline, possibly overturning fuel efficiency standards, proposing budget plans that severely cut funding to U.S. science and environmental agencies, overturning the ban of using lead ammunition on federal land and waters, and revoking a stream protection bill that prohibits the dumping of mining waste into waterways. The list seems infinite, and so will be the negative effects on our world. The legislation passed by former President Barack Obama was not meant to restrict the freedoms of American citizens. Instead, they were carefully crafted to protect our nation from the damaging effects of continued abuse by humans. Yet Trump is tossing them away without regard, as quick as a balled up piece of paper into a wastebasket. Climate change should not be politicized so heavily, since the straightforward facts of climate science are not hard to interpret, let alone in a drastically different manner as they are being. Opposing climate change is just another dirty tactic of conservatives to further divide our nation and political parties. This is the new trend of the 21st century conservatives, who are straight up dull-witted or ignoring facts for political gain. Take a look at the history of environmental legislation. The monumental amendments to the Clean Air Act were passed in 1970 under former Republican President Richard Nixon. The devout conservative Nixon also founded the EPA. About 65 years before this, former Republican President Theodore Roosevelt founded the National Forest Service and designated 5 new national parks. Trump could take a lesson from the preceding presidents in his political party. Attacking the climate is not good conservatism. That conservation should be. Make America great again? You're going to have to stop trying to destroy our environment, the basis of life, and much of our economy. The future I want for America does not include polluted waterways, smog-filled air due to increased CO2 emissions, erratic weather patterns from the depletion of the ozone layer, and respected scientists scrambling to preserve their climate change data before it is expunged by the government. If Trump makes good on all of his promises to overturn legislation and defund the EPA, conservatives will soon realize the true force of Mother Nature when we treat her poorly, but by then it may be too late. Sad.